Okay, take a picture. Next to the old uniforms.
Lovely Noah. There's one of the old turnpike cars. Here are two former park masters, Colonel Butler and Jeep, still make rare appearances in the park. Also, over here, is on the back of the yard prior to this year's refurbishment. Yeah. Why didn't you go in? Yeah, we remind people keep them as souvenirs, but yeah,
I'm going to pass it off pretty quickly here to the man of the hour, why we are all here today, the author of Kennywood Behind the Screens, Pocket Edition, Brian Butko.
Thank you, Nick. Wow, man of the hour. The clock is ticking, I guess. But thank you. I am Brian Butko. I will be your host for the next half hour while we bring on a few other speakers.
One morning I was walking through the park, and many of you may remember the old floral calendar. It spilled out in the day, May 25th, something like that. I happened to be walking very slowly past the floral calendar, and there were two women standing there. And one woman turns to the next and says, "You know what, I wonder how those flowers know what day it is."
When I was young, like Brian said back in the day, the Noah's Ark used to have this cool little room that would blow wind on with all the young ladies into there. Okay. So they would scream. One time Lee screamed. Why? It was Scottish Day.
It's such a gorgeous day today. We should all be out, I'm humbled by all of this, especially since Andy Quinn is here, because I don't know if everybody knows, but I started to work at WQED in 1987. When I came for my job interview, I had sent samples of my work, and one of them was a documentary I had made in South Carolina about the state dance. South Carolina has a state dance. It's called the shag, and it's kind of a slow jitterbug that lots of people did at the beach. People in the Carolinas just all know this dance, the shag. And the woman who was interviewing me for the job, Nancy Lavin, said, "We're gonna have to find something for you to do here, like shag." And I said, "Well, I've always thought we should do a documentary about Kennywood." And she said, "Ooh, that amusement park." She was from San Francisco, and she had never been to Kennywood. And I said, "Yeah," I think it's really important to people that grow up here. And she said, "Well, we'll see." So I was hired in the summer of '87, and to her credit, the next year, at the beginning of the summer, she said, "What do you see about that Kennywood thing?" And, of course, at the beginning of summer, everyone talks about going to Kennywood. And there were a bunch of people who worked there at the station. Everybody was all sort of hot to go to Kennywood. And I said, we're talking about maybe doing something out there. And so a bunch of them said, "Why don't you call out there and see if they'll let us come?" So I was lucky enough when I called to get Andy Quinn. And I said, "My name is Rick Seamack." No one knew who I was. I'd done a couple of shows here, but I said, "We're here at WQED, we think we might want to do a documentary about Kennywood." He goes, that would be great. Why don't you come on out? And I said, "How about 12 of us tonight?" He said, "No problem." And that's how Kennywood Memories began. That annoying noise.
sessions was finding color images from the past, and that's easier said than done. When it gets to about the 1990s, we were still using black and white film, so I was trying to find things like the auto ride, the kitty Cadillacs that so many of us remember riding, Laugh in the Dark, and this is one of the things that so many people like my older brother and sister would mention, rides like Laugh in the Dark, that I just couldn't picture, and that's really one of the things that inspired me to do the book, to go to each location, and of course the skyrocket that's here, and then the turnpike, and Laugh in the Dark, and to me that's what really was exciting to me, and I hope is what a lot of you find interesting. But the next book, you know, I'm doing 3 of them, as if one book wasn't enough for one person. The next book on Luna will be completely different. It's much more the story of the early trolley parks. But before you think that's old and dry history, it is one of Pittsburgh's greatest stories. And I won't get into much of it today, except to say that many of you know that Luna Park, and especially the entryway, was some of the inspiration for Lost Kennywood that we have now. But back then, when Frederick Ingersoll built it here, he really wanted to recreate Luna Park from Coney Island here. And he was trying for every spot that he could in town. He was a Pittsburgher, and you'll find out the amazing things about him. We'll know what ride the Castle ride turned into. So there's just so much of this out there in the archives, in the History Center archives, even before we got the parks. And then I know a lot of you collectors have so many things. Of course, we'll have some great photos for that too, enlarged to, I think our pages will be 12 by 10 inches. And there's like to show that the final result from that drawing. And we'll have great views that you've never seen of rides like the Turnpike. Signs, and this is my all-time favorite childhood memory, the firework that the chaser balls went, and then there was a second pause, and then a 12 quiet-eyed 5-year-old when that neon exploded. So if we can't have the real thing reproduced, there must be somebody out there that can do a graphic online for us, right? If not, let's see how we can rebuild the real thing. Let's dream big. And then we'll go much like the current book, Back in Time. So this area that has come to be known as Kennyville, there it is right when the display stand, one of my early memories was the display that was in what became the potato pen. This is right at the point where apparently it was going to be a fried chicken stand. At the last minute, the idea for the French fries came along, and when we go back in time, I think this is 1966. We have lots of aerials that you haven't seen before. I love that the 1949 Art Deco Pippin station is peeking out there at the far left of that same area. And then when we go even further back, and I think I saved one of my favorite photos of all time for last, that same area in full glorious color.